It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Saturday Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 13th day of November 2021. I'm Chillie Falls, coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia and Central Virginia area on a typical fall day, kind of cold and windy and crappy, but exciting morning this morning, folks. First of all, today is Hug a Musician Day. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I believe in social distancing, so I'm not advocating that you go out and hug a musician. But instead of hugging one, maybe if you go to a restaurant or a club where a musician's performing, buy them a Coke or a drink or something. Or if you happen to see a musician, just tell them you appreciate what they do. So let's not hug a musician day and just make it a good day for musicians. So, all right, couple things to we got a bunch of ships sailing this weekend, which is terrific for us getting back to sailing. Today from Charleston, you got the American Cruise Line Independence on a 7-nighter. Port Canaveral, you got Carnival Elation on a 5-nighter. The Mardi Gras on a 7-nighter. Norwegian Escape, a 7-nighter. Down at West Palm Beach, Grand Classica for a 2-nighter. Fort Lauderdale, that's Port Everglades, of course. Nieuw Amsterdam on a 7-nighter. Celebrity Apex, a 7-nighter. Celebrity Reflection, a 7-nighter. Down in Miami, the Celebrity Summit and the Disney Magic leave on 5-nighters. Symphony of the Sea on a 7-nighter. Meraviglia has a 7-night itinerary and a 15-night itinerary. Carnival Horizon, an 8-nighter. Over in Tampa, Serenade of the Seas, a 5-nighter. Out in Galveston, Carnival Breeze, a 5-nighter. Carnival Vista, a 7-nighter. Out in Long Beach, Carnival Panorama, a 7-nighter. And Los Angeles San Pedro, Majestic Princess, a 7-nighter. Terrific day for cruising out there. Tomorrow, since I don't have a show tomorrow, from Bayonne, you've got Anthem of the Seas on a 7-nighter. From Baltimore, you've got both the Carnival Legend and American Constitution for 7-nighters. Port Canaveral, the Divina, a 7-nighter with an 18-night itinerary. Disney Fantasy, a 7-nighter. Carnival Magic, a 6-nighter. Harmony of the Seas, a 7-nighter. Fort Lauderdale, you got the Celebrity Edge, a 7-nighter. Allure of the Seas, a 7-nighter. From Miami, the Carnival Freedom leaves on a 6-nighter. The Encore on a 7-nighter. Carnival Pride sails out of Tampa on a 7-nighter. New Orleans has got the Carnival Glory leaving on a 7-nighter. Galveston, Carnival Dream on a 6-nighter. And Liberty of the Seas, a 7-nighter. The Koningsdam sails from San Diego on a 7-nighter. Los Angeles Long Beach, Carnival Miracle leaves on a 4-nighter. And San Pedro, Norwegian Bliss leaves on a 7-nighter. That's all tomorrow. So a busy day in the cruise world, busy weekend. Okay, headlines in the news before we get to our special guest today. Disney is going to homeport in Port Everglades. That's they announced that this week. An agreement has been reached. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And the Norwegian Gem dropped 2 ports. Lots more live here at 11 this morning. Our friend Elizabeth on location is on board her new ship. We're tickled pink for she got on board about an hour ago on the P&O Iona out down at Southampton. A couple quick announcements before we get to the business at hand. Tomorrow on the Cruise Amigos, it's going to be a special time, folks. There's something about Amigo John is going to sing in an opera, or he's going to an opera, or something. It's something about an opera house. It's a fancy dancy thing. So we're going to actually do the show 2 hours early. So the Cruise Amigos tomorrow with a special guest also. We got our buddy Shane from Virgin Voyages will be with us. The Cruise Amigos will be at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. That's 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, and 6 p.m. German time. I think I got all that right. With a special guest, like I say, Shane Lewis Riley from Virgin Voyages, and Amigo John in a tux. I'll have a tee on and he'll have a tux on. So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. All right. I have a very special guest today to talk about the Rotterdam, and just a delightful interview with Kelly McDaniel. So we'll get started with Kelly. We have a special guest this morning on Chillie Chat. This is Kelly McDaniel, who's just gotten off the Rotterdam. Kelly, welcome to Chillie Chats.
Thanks, Chillie. Glad to be here.
All right. First of all, so everybody will know, being transparent, we've interviewed Colleen before. Tell us how you're related to Colleen.
So Colleen McDaniel is my sister-in-law. I am married to her brother, so we are related.
Okay. All right. Well, we love Colleen to death. All right. You just got off of a brand spanking new ship, the Rotterdam. What was your first impression?
Well, I've never been on a brand new ship before. I've also never been on a Holland America ship before. So it was my first experience with those two, and it's gorgeous. It smells good, which I thought was, I'm like, this smells like a new ship, right? It's so contemporary, and I loved the style of it. And the first moment when you walk on board, there were actually about 30 crew members cheering for you. I think it was just a general excitement over being on board, being back to cruising. We're so happy to help you and check out our new ship.
Well, I'm a big fan of Holland American. And quite frankly, as I've gotten older, more so than when I was younger. What was the age mixture on this cruise?
Well, I had been told that Holland America does tend to cater to older crowds. Someone actually asked me, like, what brought you to Holland America at your age? And I said, well, honestly, I'd never sailed with them and I wanted to. And I am not a big partier anyway. So I enjoyed it. The age on board, we were at about 50% capacity. We were only, I mean, I heard various numbers, but anywhere between like 800 to 1,000 passengers. And I would say the majority of them were in their 50s and 60s.
Okay. All right. One of the main things that I always look at on cruise ships is entertainment. That looks like a piano bar to me.
Yes. So this is part of the music walk on board, which if you're familiar with other Pinnacle class ships, you've heard of Music Walk, and they've got various venues where they play different kinds of music every afternoon and evening. What's cool about Rotterdam is it's the only ship that has 4 venues as part of Music Walk. So the first picture you saw was Billboard on board, which is a dueling pianos bar. Here is the Rolling Stone Rock Room, which is actually just across the corridor from Billboard on board. So what they do is they kind of time things where if there's a performance in one space, there isn't in the other. And they kind of take turns. This space is my favorite. This is Lincoln Center Stage, where this quartet played every day, multiple concerts. They played concertos, and sometimes they focused on individual composers. Sometimes they played arrangements of pop music. The musicians, all of them were just so talented. And then this is actually Lincoln Center Stage that's been transformed into B.B. King's Blues Club. So it's the same space, but you wouldn't even know it, because that night that band comes out and puts on an amazing show. And obviously you can see it's kind of the production value's high with the lights and everything, and there's dancing and just all the musicians so talented. They really did a great job.
One of the things, I mean, obviously I'm a big fat guy, So one of the things that obviously is important to me is food, but the second thing is entertainment. And I've always had good entertainment on every Holland American ship I've been on.
It's,
All right.
I mean, I was really blown away. Classical music, I mean, I've been on cruise ships where they might be in the corner and it might be kind of accompanying it, but to have it be a main event every day, that was a real treat for me. And because the music walk, they're all very close to each other. There's great soundproofing so that can happen, but you can kind of pick what you want, what suits you in the mood tonight. Do I want to headbang to rock music? Do I want to have the soothing strings? You know, do I want to sing along to 80s piano bar? So I think it really, there's something for everyone on board.
Yeah. All right. You have a couple ports of call, and one is Half Moon Cay. And being a sucker for lobster rolls, I love the picture as much as anything. How was the lobster roll?
It was really good. The seasoning was perfect. And look at this view. Yeah. It was just such a great day. I'd never been to Half Moon Cay. And because we were only at about half capacity, there was so much room to spread out and just take in the view and the beautiful turquoise waters. That was a perfect meal. And you can see we like this one because of the reflections in the glasses. You know, the ship is always there in your view, so you can just gaze out on the perfect buttery sands. It's ideal.
By the way, that's one of the most, I find, striking pictures of any person, and that's just fabulous picture.
Oh. Well, you'll have to thank my friend Aaron for taking that one.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Aaron. That was a good job. All right. Oh yeah, that's the dining room. Main dining room?
Yes, this is the main dining room. It's amazing, isn't it? This is what you see when you walk in from either floor, and everybody stops on the staircase to take a picture of this. I wasn't able to eat in the dining room more than twice, just because I was trying to try everything in our short cruise, but it's beautiful to look at. Service is great. And of course the food was phenomenal.
Top drawer. Yeah. And of course the pools and hot tubs. I'm a
big
hot tub guy.
This was my favorite space on board. You can see there's a retractable roof. So even on the first day when we boarded, it was raining the whole time, but it didn't matter, because we could get away from it in here. And you see in the back, there's a screen. So they played movies on that every afternoon. And then on Sunday, they played the NFL games. And the second floor is really nice because they have those day beds and loungers. So you can either face the pool, watch a movie, or the loungers face the ocean. And there's these curtains you can pull for some privacy too. So it's really, really nice space.
And you got to pal around with one of the big wigs.
Yes, it was so great. I was in there taking photos and he came up to me and I kind of just stopped and was like, oh, it's actually Rudy. And so we had a conversation about his glorious plates, and he was telling me kind of what inspires him. And then the mural we were standing in front of was painted by his son. So it's a very talented family.
Wow. I'm going to get, maybe I'll skip down and do it right now. One of the things about the Rotterdam, this thing is jammed full of artwork.
Yes. Yes. So one thing it's definitely known for is all of its artwork. I think the collection is valued at over $4 million. These are a couple of the pieces I particularly liked. So how they have it organized is in the aft of the ship, it's actually all animal themed pieces, and up and down the staircase. And then in the midship staircase, it's all music themed. So this one's in midship. And then in the forward stairways, it's all architecture. Now it's lots of different mediums, big, small, glittery, colorful. A favorite that everyone was taking pictures of is this fiberglass otter that was in the back by the Lido market. And it's super colorful and it's really tall, and everyone was taking selfies with the otter. But, you know, I've been on cruise ships where you don't even notice the art. You kind of just walk by.
It's not something that I ever even think about.
Yeah, yeah. But this ship, you'd literally turn the corner to go up the stairs and you just stop in your tracks, and everyone's, got their phone out to take pictures. So, and I really just appreciate that aesthetic and all the work that they put into it. And it's fun to walk around. I had joined the Holland America Facebook fan group just to kind of, prepare myself for it. And I had asked, hey, does anybody have any advice for my first Holland America cruise? And one woman said, walk up and down every staircase and look at the art. And I thought that was such an interesting piece of advice. And on this ship, she's so right. You have to do it, because even I was on board for 5 days and I'd still be surprised by a piece. And so it's definitely worth it to do that.
I've been doing this a long time, and I've interviewed a lot of people. I've never had anybody make that suggestion before. And boy, is that awesome.
Yes, I agree. I want to go back and just say thank you. That was brilliant.
Yeah. All right. You also got to go someplace that I've never been. And I started cruising before you were born, in the 70s, literally. I've never been to Bimini.
Well, technically, I haven't either. I didn't get off the ship.
Stay on board. I do that quite often.
Well, they actually ended up canceling all the excursions due to high winds. And so I took advantage of just the ability to kind of run around the ship. It was only the second day, so I hadn't been on board a lot. But we backed in to the port. So this is the view from the sea view pool. And I did have a couple friends who did get off. There's a free tram that you can take around the island, kind of stops at different beaches. There's a resort club there, but it was so windy that I don't think many people, stayed for very long. It was not a perfect beach day. And this is the Lido Market, so the buffet on board. Isn't it pretty?
All that glass.
Yes. Every seat had the best view.
I'd probably eat there just for the view. I
Yeah.
wouldn't care about the food.
I don't have any pictures of the stations. They're, of course, there too. So many options for every meal. It was a really nice place to have a quick lunch. So this is the artwork that's in the atrium. It's 3 stories high. Yeah. I think it's the most valuable piece of artwork on the ship. I think it's valued at over $600,000. It's metal and it's called harps. And everyone took a picture of it, every single one, because this is one of the first things you see when you board. And because it's in the middle there, you pass by it all the time, and it's just the way it's lit up. It's really beautiful.
And that's Rudy's restaurant.
Yep. Here's Rudy's, loving all the red. So this is where you go if you want a very decadent seafood dinner.
How was the food at Rudy's?
It was, I want to say it was surprising. The presentations were a little out of this world for me. I had ordered what was called the seafood platter.
Okay.
And what came out, this was walking toward me, and I did not think it was mine. And it was put in front of me, and I'm like, did I order this? First, it was this plate, of course, scallops, salmon, and shrimp. But then there was this tall metal hook where a giant jumbo shrimp was skewered and hanging over the plate. So the whole thing stood 2 feet tall. And I'm like, the description said nothing about this, right? Seafood platter. But it's the presentation's there, the food, it's all good. And then of course, Rudy walks around and talks to you. So you get to hear from the chef himself.
And then of course you would have to do something for an old fat guy.
Yes, the desserts. So I am a sugar addict, so I can't help it. I want to try everything. And this was in the sweet spot, which is a section in the Lido Market, the buffet area. And they had little desserts all day long. And it was so hard to say no. I pretty much didn't most of the time, but they were beautiful, and they really did taste good. The desserts throughout the ship, all the restaurants, thumbs up. Very good.
All right. Overall, I don't know if we want to ask this about Holland America or Rotterdam. What's your scorecard on COVID protocols?
Well, for this sailing, they did require all the passengers to be fully vaccinated, which I thought was nice. There was a little bit of security with that. However, they did also require masking. So if you were moving around the ship, if at any time you weren't eating or drinking, they expected you to have your mask on. And so unless you were outside. So, and people were very good about it. They did enforce, politely if they did see you without it. But otherwise, I think people followed it really well. I mean, we're used to it by now. They also give you a nice Holland America mask. So then everyone's, of course, sporting that. But I don't think the COVID protocols really hindered the experience at all. It was still a really good cruise. You could still connect with people. Again, it was only at about 50% capacity, so that helped too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting ready to get started again. I'm finally going to be able to go in January, and I'm so thrilled to
yay.
finally get back. My health issues have kept me from going this last 6 months since we started again. But now, come January, I'm going to be there. So
yes.
Would you recommend the Rotterdam to anyone?
Yes, absolutely. I did see there were a couple teenagers on board, and they had fun in Club Hal. And I think, as a woman in her 30s, I had a great time. I mean, there were a couple people on board that I was traveling with that stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning. And the bartenders stayed there too. And they were saying how that's kind of odd for Holland America. Sometimes it used to be everyone was in bed by 10, but it's really changing, and they just want you to have a good time. And who needs sleep when you've got such a beautiful ship and everything to do, right?
Oh, that's just fabulous. Well, Kelly, I can't thank you enough for giving us a little bit of time. This, of course, will be on my show actually on Saturday. We'll put this on first thing tomorrow morning. So thank you so much. This was wonderful, and a wonderful interview.
Well, thank you, Chillie. It was really great to talk about Rotterdam. Everyone should see it. Highly recommend it. It was a great first Holland America experience for me.
All right. Thanks, Kelly.
Bye-bye.
And of course, that was Kelly McDaniel. I couldn't get out of the end of the interview. It's just a terrific job. What a delightful time that was with Kelly. I totally enjoyed that. All right, we do have a couple things to discuss today. I do have a couple news stories here. First, I didn't give you your assignment for today. Here's your port, guys. Name that port. Of course, that's from Elizabeth on Location. She gave me before she left. However, here's one for you to think about. And of course, just drop in any guesses in the chat room. All right, a couple stories to cover today. Not a whole lot in the way of news this morning, but Disney Cruise Line, with a new ship on its way, Disney has decided to partner up with Port Everglades as a second main port for its ship to sail from. For many years now, the cruise line has been operating from its base in Port Canaveral, close to Orlando, and all the theme parks, of course. Although Disney ships have been sailing from Port Miami, from California, and from Texas seasonally, Port Everglades has never featured as a port for the cruise line. This is now about to change. According to the Disney Cruise Line blog, the cruise line has signed a deal with Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale to become a home port for its ships for a minimum of 15 years, a lease which can be extended for an additional 15. Starting in October of 2023, Disney will have use of year-round of Cruise Terminal 4, including in the deal is the use of a second terminal 2 years down the line. The agreement has at least one ship at the port year-round sailing on 4- and 5-night cruises. Disney has guaranteed 400,000 passengers per year for the first 2 years, a number that will increase once the second terminal comes into play. Disney Cruise Line is currently operating 4 cruise ships, all of which are presently sailing from U.S. ports. Disney Magic is based in Miami. Disney Wonder will be based in Galveston. Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy operate from Port Canaveral. Next year, the cruise line hopes to launch the eagerly awaited Disney Wish, which seems all set for a launch date in June of 2022. Two sister ships to the Wish will sail in 24 and 25. It does seem unlikely that the new vessels will be operating from Port Everglades, as these use LNG as their primary fuel. So, some news from Disney. Now, we also had some news from Norwegian. Norwegian has informed guests and travel agents of dropping 2 ports from Norwegian Gem's November 28th sailing from New York. The ship will not call at Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic and Grand Turk in Turks and Caicos due to port availability. Now, I'm not sure what port availability means, but they cancel them. Norwegian has detailed the revised itinerary to make up for dropping the 2 original port visits. The cruise line has now added an extended call in St. Thomas from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., an evening call in San Juan, a newly added port of St. John in Antigua, and an extended visit in Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. There's also an extra day at sea in place of the call on Grand Turk. So, port availability changed that cruise. All right. Let's go over and see what's going on in the chat room on this Saturday morning. And don't forget, tomorrow's Cruise Amigos will be 2 hours early of its normal scheduled time. It's at noon, my time, Eastern Standard Time. What did I say? 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. And then on the other side of the pond, that'll be 5 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, which will be for the UK. And then German time, whatever they call German time, 6 o'clock, which will get John out. The show will end at 7, and he'll have time to take his little butt to the opera house in his little tux and powder his nose and find his seats and sing or whatever he's going to do. And we'll talk to Shane some along the way. So don't forget, change the time tomorrow for Cruise Amigos. Also, I didn't mention this earlier. On Monday, we'll have Shelby Frenette with us. Crazy Shelby. I haven't talked to her for a long time, but she'll be with us on Monday. And we'll talk probably a little bit about her experiences on the Scarlet Lady. On Tuesday, the show will not be live. It's going to be taped. I'll drop a tape that'll go live at 11 o'clock for the news on the day, but I'll be with my so many months appointment with the oncologist to get my Lupron injection thing. I'm pretty sure that's what happens on Tuesday. But anyway, that's unfortunately is I'll be there when I was supposed to be live. So before I go to the doctor that morning, I will post a show and it will go live at 11 o'clock. So you just watch for the links and so forth. All right. In the chat room, Tom's with us. Katie's with us. And I see I got a message from Katie. So you did it. Okay. She asked me if I'd seen John's video. For some reason, John's video just completely disappeared, and I never did get to see it. And we couldn't figure out why it wasn't showing up for me. So anyway, Tom says we fly Thursday morning, Katie. Okay. Carol's with us. Hey, Carol. Thank you, Katie. She sent the link on Messenger. Okay, so I'm not. I feel slighted. NCL Escape out of Port Canaveral was missed, but Encore out of Miami, which was canceled, was mentioned. Yeah, I did not pull that off my schedule. I did the schedule ahead of time. And I don't know, NCL Escape out of Port Canaveral. That wasn't on. That wasn't on the list. I mean, I'm not sure why I missed that, Tom. I'll double check, but yeah, no, I did not have Escape out of Port Canaveral. So sorry about that. Could have been my mistake. Could have been the schedule mistake. I don't know. I'll find out. Nikki's with us. Hey, Nikki. Nikki says our first cruise was Holland America in 2013. We were on 60s. Oh, we were in our 60s and felt like the young whippersnappers, but that's not bad. You know, I was not, the first time I was on Holland America, I was not uncomfortable with that. Of course, it was, I was in my 60s too. But I don't find it as near as much for old folks as it used to be. However, it's clearly not a Carnival party show. There's no doubt about that. But there's still plenty to do, and plenty of entertainment, but especially the food. The food I just find fabulous, and they're gorgeous ships. So I like Holland America. I'm very high on them. I'm definitely going to be on Rotterdam. I was looking at that right after I finished the interview with her. Because Katie says, I've never been on a Holland America. If you remember our buddy Bubba, who I'm going to talk to Bubba later on in the week, because he's been on the Koningsdam this past week out of San Diego. He sells almost exclusively on Holland America, although he just did 2 cruises back to back on Royal Caribbean that his wife booked, and he wasn't real happy with her for that. But he's a big Holland America guy. Katie says Symphony of the Seas has amazing artwork also. And Emily is trying to give me a new name, Chunkier. Are you referring to me being fat or what? Yeah, Emily, I'm, And she goes, oops, Chillie, Chunkier. And Tom says, who are you calling Chunky? Who is chunkier? Everybody's commenting on that. That's a good line. Misspelling, Kate. Yeah, I know. We're teasing you, Emily. And I don't care. Call me chunkier. I'm chunky. I'm fat. I admit it. Katie guessed St. Thomas. No, that's incorrect. I am thinking St. Martin, but not the Dutch side. That's another ding, 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 ding for Hot Air Tom. That is correct, Hot Air Tom. It is St. Martin, and it is the French side. We just had it on a story yesterday. Marigot is what they call the French side. So that is the Port Marigot. It's St. Martin. Tom Henry gets another one. Kenneth's with us. Good morning, Kenneth. You guessed St. Kitts. Of course, Tom just got it. It was St. Martin, Margot on the French side. Emily says everybody's saying back and forth, still saying greetings. Hello. Let's see. Kenneth says, hey, Chillie, what's the Norwegian cruise ship you were booked on in 2023, and what's the date? Thank you. That's on the Breakaway. That's the Vloggers cruise, which is not just for vloggers. And it sails on January the 29th of 2023 from New Orleans. Western Caribbean goes to Cozumel, Roatan, Belize, maybe Grand Cayman, but Western Caribbean cruise. A lot of folks are going to be on that. A like J.G. Crew and Lalita Loca and probably Don. And there's a bunch of people in the space are going to be there, and our Carol is going to be on this. She's going to be on that as well. So, and I'm on it. As a matter of fact, it's paid for. Lock, stock, and barrel, done. So don't have to worry about it until I go get on the boat. Tom says, I saw the blogger cruise is over 650 people, way too many people for me to deal with. I don't know. I haven't seen that, and it's one of those don't really matter because I'm going anyway. So, all right, guys, that's going to finish me up for today. Again, tomorrow we're going to talk about the opera and Amigo John singing in the opera, or maybe he's going to the opera and singing in his seat, or maybe he's not singing at all. He's going to look at operas. I don't know. Anyway, he's going to a fancy Philharmonic Berlin. It's got a German name, and I'd screw it up, but it's some big Philharmonic opera hall in Berlin. And Amigo John is going to be there. So we're doing everything 2 hours early too, so we don't screw him up. That's something he wanted to do, and that's something very special to him. I got no problem at all with doing the show a little bit different time, because anybody that misses it, since we're doing it early, then it can always catch it on the replay. 90% of the people catch it on replay anyway. So, but anyway, that's tomorrow. Noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow will be the Cruise Amigos live from Berlin with special guest Shane from Virgin Voyages. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. As always, you guys have a terrific weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, have a good time, and go out and don't kiss or hug a musician, but do something nice for a musician today, whatever it might be. That's going to wrap me up today. This is the old fat travel guy. You guys have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you tomorrow on Cruise Amigos and back here on Monday with our friend Shelby. Okay, have a great weekend. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie Chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.